What's going on, Tamers? It's your boy Dan from DigiGuard United, bringing you guys another meta snapshot. And today we have is Top Cut Events Peoria Regionals. This was the one that live in person regional from close to Chicago from last weekend I think it was. This event held 212 players with 8 rounds of Swiss, with I would say Newmont dominating the top 16 for sure. Having nine Newmont's top in 16 is kind of crazy. With 2 yellow vaccines, 2 Imperial, 1 Magna X, 1 Machinja, 1 Mirage. I think we can say this is probably the closest in a while that we can say it's close to a tier 0 format with Newmont being so dominating. We've seen 3 regionals already with 3 Newmont wins and a lot of toppings for us. We had the first region where we had 7, the one in I think tag region had like 4 maybe, and now this one has 9. We're getting into that territory where tier 0 is considerable for sure. Well, all 3 of them winning by Newmont as well. So let's jump into the top deck. And a lot of the decks are gonna be very similar, so we're gonna be probably speed running a lot of the Newmont decks. First we got is first place Nicholas Lane Newmont decklist. He is running 8 Agumon. That's cool. I think Agumon is still something you can be played in the deck for sure. Of course, you got your 8 Ukos. He's running the Chikurimons. He's running the one of Garymon, which is interesting. If anyone who doesn't know, this lets you on play and on deletion by trashing 1 card with Newmon Sukumon and his name from your hand. One of your opponent's Digimon gains second attack -1 until the end of the turn. He's also treated Newmon and then inheritable. When attacking one of your opponents, Digimon gains second attack -1 as well. So if he's running Venusmon, is a pretty good little combo you can do with it. Being able to always have that Venusmon activate as well. And besides that is your usual lineup of Newmon stuff: the Gary, the draw 2, trash 1, Newmon Rush, Newmon X as well. We're seeing quite frequently the Edamon nowadays decks, because Edamon plus Volk equals a busted ass combo, which again, I keep repeating this. I think Bandai needs to consider doing something with Edamon. I don't know what that is, if it's a choice restriction or as a complete, like, restricted to 1. Whatever it is, I think it needs to be considered for sure by Bandai. And then you have your usual low file lineup with the Monzi and Monzi X. Then you have Volk, Plat, and Venusmon is your usual suspect at level 6s as well. Rumo and Dex at your 7s. Protoform per usual. And then your tamer lineups anywhere between these 4 that we've seen a lot of, which is Emperor, Louis, Sasuke, and Matt. Matt lets you, starts you at 3. If you have Uko, maybe raise, play Garymon, gain a memory. You can do a lot of shenanigans with it, you know what I'm saying? Besides that, and even if it's your opponent's turn, if you have a Digimon with Newmon X in sources and it dies, you go play Plat, effect, trash a Newmon or its Monzi, gain 2 memory, tap Matt, gain a 3rd memory, so that could potentially be a turn changer, which is always really clutch to have. And then double Sasuke for that rush is always really good to have as well. And your eggs, if you're playing black base, this is your black base eggs no matter what. And then BT16, 95% of all Newmon decklist is the black base nowadays. Next we have is second place Newmon with, can we work with me? Thank you. Nate Romero Newmon. He's running your more standard with the Chu and the Chikuri as your rookies besides the Agumon. Everything else is pretty standard, of course. Your 8 Ukos, Chikuri, Chu at 3. Your low 4s, all 4 of. Your Edamon at 3 with the Monzi package. Volk Ace at 3. Plat, 3 of. Venus, always at 1. Rumo plus Dex, Louis, and Sasuke and Matt is your usual lineup you see. Nothing different really. Next we have is third place. This is the crazy part about this region, right? First, second, third, and fourth place are all Newmon. This is how crazy Newmon is right now, that it takes all 4 of the top 4 spots, nothing different, which is kind of crazy, right? Black base again, Ukos, Chumon, Chikuri, your Newmon lineup, nothing crazy. Edamon nowadays too. With your tamers, with your protoforms, Death X plus room mode. Again, nothing different. Next we have is 4th place Numemon by Eugene Kim. Again, nothing different, right? It's all legitimately the same. The only difference is he's running the 2 X antibody protoforms compared to just 1. He probably has something taken out. Yeah, he's running 2 of this Numemon instead. Makes sense, right? Next we have is, let's see which one this is. This is 9 plays Zach Rose Numemon. Interesting. He's running the Dorimon. For anyone who doesn't know what Dorimon does, this is an inherent all turns with turn when another Digimon when another Digimon is deleted, gain 1 memory. I don't know why it says with. Oh, with blocker. That's why. I was reading this right here and I didn't see the blocker part. With blocker is deleted, gain a memory, which is interesting. There's a decent amount of Digimon that have blocker. If it's your Digimon, like with an inheritable, if it gets deleted, you gain a memory. I think I would still prefer the Tokumon over that, or even the other X antibody egg. I don't remember what it's called right now, but it lets you when a Digimon unsuspends, draw 1. I think I would prefer that over this as well. Besides that, you know, Chumon and Agumon as your rookies besides your Ukos, which is pretty cool. Your Numemon lineup, only 1 of this Numemon, 3 of this Numemon, so he's probably playing a little something different. Yeah, he is. 1 Uko, 7 Ukos, which is interesting. Edamons, 3, 4, 4, 3. He's running 2 Vetusmon, double D, and he's running Iron Fist Onslaught. This is a very oldie but goodie. This lets you main delete all your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost, which is pretty good. I guess if you're hit it into security against Magna, that kills Magna, I guess, before it activates its Digivolution effect. As long as it's not that turn for sure. And then Louis, Satsuki, and Matt. Yeah, besides that, it's the only real difference. Next we have is this is 11th place Jesse Wildner. Numemon deck list. He's only running 10 rookies, which is interesting because he's running 8 Uko plus 2 Chikuri. No Chumon, which is interesting, especially in you're playing against Mirage a lot. I mean, it probably doesn't matter, but sometimes it may pick up. I know I've noticed it matters sometimes against Imperial. They have the XP plus the single on to gain the memory itself, since there's a Digimon effect. When there's DNA, you gain the memory. Chumon does stop that, so I still like the Chumon in the deck for me personally. But hey, he's still top with it. Good for him, right? New Edamon, 3 of. He's running a War Monzimon. I think War Monzimon slept on because nowadays with the Edamon, being able to digivolve anything on play and with digivolving, and then on play you get to stop your opponents from swinging with 5 costs or less Digimon against your security, which is really good. So I think it's still a good card. It's good to see someone still running it. And then he has 3 Volk, 3 Plat, Venus, Shine, Death, 2 Digimon Emperor, and 2 Louis, and 2 Satsuki. So you want to see those cards more frequently, I would assume. Next Numemon is 13th place Justin Bramlett. He's running your standard list with 3-3 split of the Chikuri and Chumon, the 8 Uko. Your known ratios of the Numemon, Garymon, 2 Eda, 4 Monzi X, Volcase, Plat. Again, this is your more regular list that you'll see in BT16 version for sure. Next is Ty. His name is Ty. 14th place Ty Schuneriger. I don't know how to say anything. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. And again, this is a more regular list you're going to see in today's Numemon list for sure. Nothing too crazy to talk about. This is what it is at this point. He's running 4 of the Volk Ace ratio wise, which is kind of crazy. You see it at that 3 spot. He's running only 2 Plat Numemon and then 2 Venusmon, which is interesting as well. 3 Edamon, and then he must have cut something else. Yeah, so this is at 1 of only, and this is only at 1 of the Chikurimon as well. So that's his spot, and he's running the Dorimon as well, which I guess other people like that tech of the Dorimon. Yeah, which I don't blame. Next we have is This is 16th place Kyle Clement's Numon deck list. Again, nothing different. Only difference is the ratios and being played Digimon Emperor. Numon is, best deck in the format. There's no reason to change things that doesn't need to be changed. And that's what you see in this top 16 for sure. Next we have is 5th place Imperial by Dominic Keeve. Sorry about your last name. Imperial is pretty cool nowadays, right? Because you're able to do a lot of different things compared to previous Imperial, and you could do a variety of how you want to build your deck. But there's certain cards that feels like they're a must to play in the deck nowadays, so you're gonna see that quite frequently. One off is definitely the Vmon that searches. This lets you search top 3, add 1 card Imperial in his name or free trade, and 1 Davis. Promo Vmon, where this Digimon would digivolve into a card with a free trade. If you have a tamer in place, reduce the cost by 1. Always really good. Plus, you have to win attack if the Digimon has 2 or more colors. Draw 1. Always really good. Come on. Thank you. And then you got the Wormmon Searcher, which has the end of turn DNA. He grabs looks top 3 as well. Grab Imperial or free. And then you grab a card with Ken. He's running the new Wormmon. This lets you start your main on play. If it's your turn, when your Digimon may digivolve into a level 4 Digimon card with Insectoid free from your trace from your trash, reduce the play cost by 1, which is really good. Really love that effect. Being able to do that, especially if you don't have a certain color in your hand that you need to get to the DNA plays. And then his champion lineup, he's running, it looks like it was a 6, 8, 12 total, 14 total. Level 4, so you're running the XV that gains you a memory when you DNA. He's running the Stingmon that gains you a memory when you DNA as well, and he's running the starter deck a Stingmon. If you have, I think it's a blue color on board, then this reduces cost by 1, so it could be a 3 cost drop. And then he's running the EX1 jamming XVmon. Swing has jamming, also Handle gets jamming as well. And then 2 Lodgemon. This is a good card that if you're missing one of the colors, you have this and you're good to go. So if you're missing the green, you still have the blue. If you're missing the blue, you still have the green. Really, really good card in my opinion. And then for your low 5s, you're gonna run, of course, the new Pyojimon. New Pyojimon is too broken not to play. Having partition on his body, and then when Digimon suspend all your opponent's Digimon. And then if it's DNA, you can unsuspend until the end of your turn. They don't unsuspend, I should say. When attack was returned, suspend one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. This effect didn't unsuspend the Digimon. So it's like the OG Pyojimon, be able to swing, unsuspend, swing. Same concept with this because you're gonna be unsuspending everything basically. And then he has partition, so if it dies in any way besides battle, play out to blue or green. So XP on Stingmon always, which is really good. Also running the Star Deck Pyojimon that I was mentioning before. This lets you when digivolving, when DNA digivolving, bottom deck a 6k or less, which is really good. And then when attacking, suspend the Digimon, so it gives you that aggression. And surprisingly, he's running the Dino Beamon from BT11. I think it's 12. I'm sorry. So this card states, if DNA digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and this Digimon gains 3k for the turn. Then you may attack your opponent's Digimon with the Digimon. So if you have piercing and gym, you're good into security. This would become 11k. You can swing over a lot of Digimon. This gives you get rid of instant board presence if needed. So it's really, really good. Then for your 6s, which I feel like you see quite often, is 3 of this new Imperial Dragon mode that lets you have this effect where your opponent really can't digivolve or play Digimon by effects. And if you do, you can digivolve into your fighting modes for free. And then you gain more crazy effects. Then you have the Ace that lets you blast Digivolve as well. And I'll play when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digivolving cards as this Digimon to the bottom of the deck. End of attack once per turn, unsuspend the Digimon, which is always really good. Then if Drag Mode is in the source, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of the deck. Really good effect. Super strong card in my opinion. Definitely needs to be at 30F. And then he's running the old school fighter mode. For anyone who doesn't notice, this is the BT12 one. When digivolving, suspend all your opponent's Digimon with no sources. Then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hand. And then by returning one drag mode from this source to hand, it can be bottom deck instead. which is really good. And all turns gains plus 1k for each color in the source, and then gains second attack plus 1 in blocker. So being able to be 15k all times basically in blocker and second attack plus 1 is really good. And then options, he's running HVD, Megadeth, and Hammer Spark. Megadeth is a must in my opinion. HVD is questionable, but it's really good as well. Hammer Spark, be able to extend your plays if needed. It's also really good. And then 1 Davis for the search plus memory fixer. And then this broken ass Hammer, Davis Ken. On paper, I didn't think it was as good as it is, but like in actuality, in practice, this card is cracked in my opinion. Being able to play a Vmon Wormmon for free from your hand, gain that search, potentially gain whatever, sets up your DNA play so much easier because you don't have to waste memory on playing a Vmon or Wormmon. And then the second effect is, when you digivolve into a blue or green Digimon, by suspending tame gain memory, so being able to do Evos for cheaper. And if you're a DNA Digivolve, then you can trash 3 sources from under a Digimon. Card is cracked. This card is what makes the deck a tier 1 viable threat in my opinion. Because without it, I don't think the deck works as well as it is now. So congrats to him for being able to get the top with Imperial. Next we're going to talk about is the second Imperial that made top 16, which is 12th place Walker Sikorsky Schneider. Very similar builds with a couple of different cards. You're gonna have your Vmon and Wormmon searches for sure. You're gonna have the Pro Metal to Evo for free. He is running the Wormmon as well, plus he's running the new Vmon as well. So for anyone who doesn't know what this does, your turn was returned when one of your other Digimon is played or Digivolve. If it has free in its trait or it's green, gain a memory, inherited plus 2k. Plus 2k matters sometimes, especially against Newmon as well. He's running the new X Vmon that lets you have raid on body and then on play when digivolving. One of your Digimon can't be deleted by bounce at any opponent's turn. So that means it's like a pseudo jamming effect that can be played as well. He's running the XV and the Stingmon that lets you gain memory when you DNA, and then the Star Deck Stingmon as well. Pyodron 4 of the new one is a must. Running the starter deck of 1 as well, and he's running the BT12 version as well. This one lets you when DNA Digivolving, trash the top 3 sources of your opponent's Digimon. Then when DNA Digivolving, 2 of your opponent's Digimon with no sources in play can't attack at any opponent's turn, so it gives you that little stun effect as well. Then inherited and attack Digimon has Imperial Digimon in his name or free trait, gain 1 memory. That 1 memory matters sometimes. And then you're split between the Dragon mode, the Ace Fighter mode, and the Old Fighter mode as well, as expected. Options, HVD. We all know what that does and know why it's at 1. Gigadeck 2 of it. So this card didn't see play back in the day, but it sees a lot more play now because of the game state we're at, I feel like. Especially with Newmon being the best deck in the format. For 9 costs, this lets you suspend 1 of your opponent's Digimon. Then place up to 10 of your opponents suspended Digimon at the bottom of their owner's deck. So you're like, damn, that seems like a lot. But if you go Pyodramon, you're suspending everything anyways, right? The new Pyodramon suspends all your opponent's Digimon. Then you play this and you bomb deck everything if you don't get rid of anything. Super good card in my opinion, especially in today's game. It has a security effect that suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of the owner's deck as well. Great card. And another card thing that's a little slept on because the other Imperial Digimon player didn't play it, which is the Invincible Dragon Insect Fusion. This allows you to play XV or Stingmon from your hand for free. Then they can DNA as well. And until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon can't be deleted by battle and gains blocker, which is pretty important in my opinion. Security effect, you can play a Vmon Wormmon from your hand or trash while paying the cost. You can add this card to your hand. Really good card in my opinion. 2 Davis and then 4 Davis and Ken. Davis and Ken is a must of a 4 if there's no questions asked. If you think about playing 3 of, you are wrong. You gotta play this at 4. Next we have is 6th place Edgar Martinez Magna X deck. This is your regular armor version where you're running all your Vmons. You're playing blue base You know, you got your VMon searchers, your promo, your jamming VMon as well. And you're running all the Magnamons at level 4, basically. Starter deck, the OG BT8 one, and you're running the BT13 one as well. And he's running a Zero Ace. I think the card still can be played in today's game, in today's version of Magda, and definitely a good card. And of course, Magna X, we all know the Boogeyman format. This card is cracked, being able to be immune to all effects, and just be able to, you know, gain that aggression by swinging, unsuspend, swinging sometimes. It's really good. 2 death decks, of course. It's, you know, new mod format, being able to get rid of those bodies faster and stuff helps. And then his option lineup, 2 blind array. So once your Magnet X comes back to you after your opponent's turn, you can't activate the effect. So you need ways to activate it yourself sometimes without swinging and like dying to security against an option or something. So you always have cards like blind array that you trash your own security, you proc your own Magnamon's effect and gains that full immunity until the end of your opponent's turn. Plus you gain 2 memory, always really good. Icewall, good card, makes sense to play it. Awakening a Golden Knight at 3 of makes sense because you want to digivolve into Magna X as cheap as possible, which this card allows you to do that. And then 4 blue memory boost, being able to search anything that's blue basically, and gain those 2 memory later is always important. And then Heaven's Judgment. Heaven's Judgment is a must in Magna X because neg 24k cracked ability, right? 4 promo Davis is a must, and then Shu Luyin to give Magna X Alliance, swing 2 checks, and you know, do a lot of damage faster with it. Next we have is yellow vaccine armors instead of your regular Magna X version. This is 7th place Sam Hernandez. Yellow vaccine armors is crazy. Being able to go Patamon Evo to a Rapid for free, and then you know you could go into Awakening Emissary for 1 Evo into either Rapid X or Magna X or something like that. It's such a cracked ass play. This deck is crazy in my opinion. If it wasn't for Numon, this is probably like easily best deck in format of this version. But you know, you got your Kudamon searchers, you got your Patamon that lets you you know, Evo for free. You're also playing the promo Patamon. Promo Patamon is low-key slept on in my opinion. This card is kind of crazy. So on play, search your security stack. You may add 1 yellow or black card with 2 or more colors from 1 to your hand. If you add a card, recover +1. So you'll be able to just grab anything from this deck because your Rapids are dual color yellow. Rapid X is dual color yellow. Magna X is, you know, tricolor. I believe you're allowed to grab, let me see, with 2 or more colors. So you're allowed to grab Magna X with no problem. Room mode you can grab. You can also grab Dexmon too if it's needed. It's cracked in my opinion. Then run 3 Uko, of course, because Uko is a searcher. And a deck that doesn't have many searchers, Uko is a good way to go. Running the Magna Ace as your low 5, only 2 of it. Again, because the way the deck works, you kind of don't need the low 5s, which is kind of crazy. And then your Rapids and the Gold Vigimon. Rapid X lets you Evo over Rapamon for 4, so that's why I say you don't really need the low 5s in the deck. Same with Magna X, because Magna X did you over 2 colored with Magnamized name, also blocker for 5, which he doesn't have, but you could just go Awaken a Golden Knight anyways over and Evo for cheaper. And you can Evo for 4 over the Magna Angemon if you need it. Next you have is Room Mode, 2 of it, Dexmon, 2 of it, options, Emissary Hope, crack card, we right now Evo for 1 base lead into anything that's a level 6 or lower. Physical training at 3 of, kind of makes sense, right? Awakening Golden Knight makes sense. Megalo Spark is an interesting option to shoot. So for 5 costs, when you use this card, if you have Yellow Tamer in play, reduce the cost by 1, so it's from the 4 costs. Main, when your opponent's Digimon gets neg AK for the turn. After it is security, same effect. TKs, 3 TK. The reason we're running 3 TK of the old TK is because this allows you to proc your Magna X effect. You know, you play it, you grab a yellow card, you recover. After these Magna X, when did you evolve effect to gain that immunity? Really good. And then the new 2 TK is super cracked. We already know what it does. Combo that with Patamon, busted plays. Am I right? Right. So next we have is the second yellow vaccine version. This is 15th place Nicholas Olmstead. This one is running your kind of more low 5 because he's running Andrew Woman Ace. I think it's a really good card. It's definitely something to be considered. But besides that, Kuda, usual Pada, of course. Pillowmon for opponent can't play Digimon by effects, which is pretty good. Stops your opponent's Numon battles for sure. Ugo for the search, you already know. Gold Vija, Rapid. And this deck is a must. And then Rapid X and Magna X. You already know the deal. Running the 1 Venusamon. This is good for the mirror match or the mirror of the blue variant for sure. To stop your opponent's Magna X's from activating when Digimon effect. Which is super important. It also stops like Monze X. You can stop a lot of cards, obviously, with it. Really good card. Rumo, Dexmon, of course. Emissary Hope, of course. Awakening, of course. Yellowman Boost gets to search almost anything Digimon related, which is pretty good. Heaven's Judgment, you're running Magna X, so why the F not? You know what I'm saying? And then Tamers, Digimon Emperor, which is really good against anything that has Ukumon, basically. So stops them, slows down their plays for sure. TK, must cards in my opinion in this deck. Next we have this. I'm super excited to talk about this one. It is 8th place Connor-san Machinejimon. This is the first Machinejimon top in a long time. He is running the purple base Machinejimon, so this is more of a hard drop style Machinejimon deck. I was gonna do a deck profile of this. I just never got a chance to get around to it. Maybe I will in the future. We'll see what happens, right? So, you know, purple base lets you be able to trash a card low 5 or higher to draw 2. So being able to give that consistency of drawing and trashing is really good. You can run 7 Ukos as you can see, which is really good. And they kind of just, you know, they're there to just keep swinging. And if they live to your opponent's turn, great. You're plussing off of them, but you'll be able to get instant aggression with them, which is really good. He's running 4 of the Searcher Gurumon to slot to grab any machine or cyborg, and then a Black Tamer as well, which is really good. And then Inherited has a reboot, so if you're able to evo with the stack, you can. Clearly, you can't evo with the stack in this version because he's running no low 4s. So his low 5 lineup is pretty crazy. Is it 18 cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 15, 16, 17, 18. This man went super heavy on the low 5 count. Machinemon's low 5 count has to be anywhere between 14 to 18 in my opinion. Especially if he's doing the hard drop version. 18 is probably not bad. I can see probably some issues with it sometimes depending on the situations. But yeah, so let's see. He's running the Digimon that lets you gain 2k on your opponent's turn. He's running the Megajimon that gains 2k on your turn. He's running the starter deck Angemon, which is really rare. You don't ever see this because you're never going to win Digivolve, which is weird. So I'm not really sure why he's running this because he gains Reboot as well. If that's the case, if you want a second Reboot besides your Metal Tyrannomon, I would run the Gigajimon that has Jammer on body instead. Because at least you could do something with it if you have to. I believe it's 6 or 7 cost, so it's not too bad. I'm not sure why you're running the Angel one, honestly, especially if you don't have no low 4s, which is quite interesting. He's running the package of the EX1 Cyborg, so Andromon, Metal Mamimon, and Metal Tyrannomon. These cards, and the Megajimon as well, and the Piercing, but those are kind of separate. But back to them. Andro, Metal Mommy, and Metal Tyrannomon has a win Digivolve effect to be able to search top 3, grab anything. But again, you can't Digivolve in this version, so it doesn't matter. So Inheritables is blocker from Andro. Metal Mamimon gives you the pop-up 5 cost or less Digimon, and then Metal Tyrannomon gives you that reboot as well. Then we got the Megajimon, which has an on play to delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with 3k or less. Then it has second attack +1 as an inheritable. Metal Greymon, when attacking, this Digimon can delete a 4k or less, and then inheritable Piercing, which is really good. He is running also the BT15 Megajimon. So on play, when Digimon search top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 machine, cyborg, sock trait card to Digimon's bottom Digilusion card, and add 1 such card to the hand. Trash the rest. If this Digimon has a sock tamer, SOC tamer, you can delete one of your opponent's play costs 3 or less Digimon or tamers. Then it has an inheritable effect of when attacking, Digimon 1, which is always really good, especially for Machine Digimon. Then he's running this EX4 Metal Greymon. On play has a blocker. You're never gonna get the Wind Digimon effect in Machine Digimon, so that's irrelevant. Plus inheritable blocker as well. Running Rapidmon and Metal Tyranno, one of each. I really want to talk about them in combo is because they both have the same inherited of delete opponent's Digimon and then trash the security. Rapid's on play effect is different though. So on play when Digivolving, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if you have a green tamer, you gain the effect of your opponent's effects can't delete this Digimon or returns in hand. But he's not running a green tamer, so that part is irrelevant. It's really just the inheritable that matters. Metal Tyranno lets you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon for every green or black tamer you have, and then you can't unsuspend on your opponent's unsuspend phase. Then we're running Megajimon. This is the BTA version. So when Digimon, you can pop one of your opponent's Digimon or tamers with play cost 3 or less. Same effect when attacking. As inheritable, excuse me. I'm out here burping on the inside. So really good effect, especially in today's game. You have so many cheap tamers. You got Sati, you got Analog Boy, you have Louis, you have Digimon Emperor. So it's very important to have that Megajimon, I think, in today's game. Star deck Metal Greymon has blocker on body and second attack +1 as inheritable. Nothing to talk about there. BTA Metal Greymon, Digimon one of your opponent's Digimon, and then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3k or less. But again, this version, you're not gonna get that effect, so it's irrelevant. The main part is the inheritive. When this Digimon is machine, which is the important part, you can attack over unsuspended Digimon, which is really great. BT1 Metal Greymon, which is the secret rare one. Your turn, this Digimon gains +3k. That's inheritable. Volcanomon, blocker on body, second attack +1 and secure and inheritable, which is really good. And then for your level 60, he's running 4 Machine Digimon to EX1, so this lets you on play add up to 5 sources to your hand. That's red or black level 5 cyborgs, and then gain a memory for each. And then all turns can be DP negged, so that's important in today's game. And then when it gets deleted, you can trash 2 sources to stop the deletion. Chaos Digimon allows you to Digivolve over Machine Digimon for 1, tuck up to 3 sources from trash your hand. Digivolve 3, and then he gains the ability to the protection of all turns when the Digimon will be deleted or bounce or bottom deck. Trash 2 sources, save it, really good. And then Chaos X allows you to gain all those abilities of your machine or Chaos Digimon plus more. And then all turns, if it were to be deleted, you trash one of your opponent's security instead, which is really good. So, and then start of your main phase, you're allowed to add sources from your trash. That's a low 5 cyborg or any cyborg or machine to it. So it could be another Machine Digimon, another Chaos Digimon. It doesn't matter as long as the machine is cyborg. 1 Dex. Dex is important in today's game. Attack it heavy at 3 of. You're playing a hard drop style Machine Digimon deck, so this card is super important in my opinion. Supreme Connection is very important in a hard drop version as well. Being able to reduce your Machine Digimon plays for 3 is super important. And then on play, you get to search top 5, grab a cyborg or machine, and then trash 1 from the same name, and then put the cards back to the top. Delay, you play this, reduce the play cost of your cyborg machines by 3, which is really important. Security, same effect as the main, search top 5, add 1 card on 1 and trash throw up there, and then place this card in a battle area. Try to arm, really good card, being able to Digivolve 3, and then start your opponent's main phase. This Digimon has attack, so getting that effect to potentially kill something on board, super important. And then for Analog Man is the best tamer for Machine Digimon, so it makes sense why he's running at 4. And finally, we have is 10th place Marzumaya Hudson Mirage list. Mirage doesn't change too much from previously. Outside of the new Galgamon, which lets you to gain a memory when you both draw a card or something like that. So when Digivolving, both players draw one card from the deck. Then if your opponent has any more cards in your hand, or this Digimon has 3 more sources, gain a memory. So being able to evo for 1 basically is super important. And then inherited jamming. Outside of the rest, you already know the deal for Mirage, Dazudo, of course, Goma, Gao, Beta is a must. Your Lana, what's it called? Hybrid for game, always important. And your low 5s in today's game, you have to run the new Mach Galgamon, which is the BT13 one, to stop your opponents from blocking or redirecting the attacks. So especially in a format where there's Mega Commentaryomon, there's Magnamon X, those are super important. That stops your opponent from, you know, switching the target and blocking. And everything else is pretty much the same, you know, your 5 Mirages. This Mirage is so important. Burst mode at 3, of course, Ice Wall, Mental Training, Blue Man Boost, Full Moon, Medium Impact. You already know the deal when it comes to Mirage. There ain't nothing different between Mirage besides the BT13 Mach Galgamon, because that's so important to this game. And then your Thomases, of course. And yeah, so that's it for Peoria's regionals. If you guys like this content, please subscribe, and you're gonna see more from us in the future. Hit that like button as well. And you guys have any comments or thoughts on what you thought this, you know, crazy regional having 9 new mons is in the top 16 is, let us know. And with that being said, we'll talk to you next time on the next Meta Snapshot. Peace.